Loreheads, and welcome to The League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
And today we're talking about the Kraken Priestess Illaoi, not Princess, as much as I wanted her to be. She was released November 24th, 2015. Why did I think she came out like 2 years ago?
That's League time for you.
No.
Yep.
I think I knew as I was looking it up, I'm like, she's going to be older than I think. So maybe 2017. No.
She was part of the Gangplank event, which was when we still worked there.
Not me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that even doesn't feel like that long ago. This is just getting old. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Illaoi doesn't have too much. Well, she has more than I expected. She has a bio, 2 short stories, an interactive trial, which blew my mind. I didn't know that was on the universe page. She's also, for some reason, they linked the video The Climb, which I'll say it right now. Her tentacles are in that video.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Of all the champions who are in that it's not linked on the universe page, I could not believe that this was the one that they pulled the trigger on.
I hit play and I was like, did I not see this video? And I started skipping ahead and I was like,
wait, let me go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know why either.
They're not her tentacles.
I'm sorry. The tentacles she plays with sometimes.
Yeah, thank you. her pleasure tentacles.
No, John, they're her truth-bearing tentacles or something.
It's her duty. They're
duty tentacles?
Yeah, they're her duty tentacles.
Duty.
I really hate everything about this. I also wrote down her quote, because I try to look at their quotes that they have at the top, but I don't always remember. But hers is, "Wisdom is frequently a kick in the head." And I like that.
It's very fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has good video. All of her quotes are cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're solid. They're another... I will say... I'll just say it up front. This was a breath of fresh air. All of her stories and her bio, I just enjoyed them a lot. And I feel like she's part of a lot of stories that are just well written. And that was nice.
Is she, maybe, I'm curious what all she's, okay, so she's got the burden, right? And then there's the Shadow and Fortune. Is there another, aside from that in the bio, is there another short story that has her floating around in it? Or is that?
Nah, just those 3.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
But after Rise of the Sentinels, and then Heimerdinger, and then Akshan, I guess this was good.
It was nice. I liked it a lot. I thought it was all very true to... I mean, I say true to Illaoi. Literally everything I know about Illaoi was from these stories, so yeah, I guess it's true to Illaoi. But it felt very what I expected. It was on brand, and I felt like the writing was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed reading all the stories, and I thought all the stories offered a glimpse into Illaoi's personality, which I feel like has been missing from a lot of our stories lately. I don't feel like we've gotten a lot of personality lately, but I feel like each of her stories was very Illaoi. And they matched her quotes, which are also very Illaoi.
I guess that's true.
Wowie.
John.
Why doesn't she have that as one of her quotes or something?
Wowie, Illaoi. Riot, put it in there.
Make that her only voice line.
Or the next champion, they'll be like, "Wowie, it's Illaoi." That'd be great.
God, why doesn't Zoe have that?
I know, Zoe would say that.
Ooh, yeah, that would be good. But
I'm a genius.
I didn't feel super strongly either way, I guess. I guess I felt like I didn't learn anything new. I just felt like we're doing Gangplank's episode again, because we really covered everything about Illaoi almost in Gangplank's episode.
You know what? I actually feel like I learned a handful of new stuff about her.
Oh.
Because I feel like almost with Gangplank's episode, I'll be honest, I kind of skipped ahead in the story to the point where Gangplank finally showed up.
Okay.
And I feel like there's actually a lot in that beginning section that tells a little bit more that I was unaware of.
Okay, I had read that whole one, I remember.
I got a little lazy on that one. Because, Gangplank had a lot.
No, yeah. No, I get it. You do a lot more than I do, so.
No, yeah, I'm there with you, John, in that I very much skimmed the start of it, and I mean it's more of an Illaoi story anyway. So this time was a good time to kind of get back into it. I don't know. I felt more like we had a lot of potential with her, and than getting a lot of that potential capitalized on. And I'm interested in kind of breaking these down piece by piece a little bit. And because the bio is like a good example of that, where I think it's less about her. The bio, I guess I would say, is less about her and more about her faith.
Yeah, it is.
Do you want me? I can just summarize it real quick.
That's all I have the notes on. So
okay,
the
why don't you do it then?
Okay, all right. So Illaoi is the truth bearer of, someone help me, the Nagake
Boros is how she pronounces it.
Boros.
It is not how I always pronounced it Nagaka Boros, but she does say Nagake Boros.
Nagake Boros. Okay. Anyway, a good quote of what they do is, central to the religion's theology are 3 tenets. Every spirit was born to serve the universe. Desire was built into every living thing, every living being by the universe. The universe only moves toward its destiny when living creatures chase their desires. So it's just like they want people to follow their dreams, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. I didn't really realize that's what the religion was.
Even though it manifests in dark ways sometimes, I'm here for it.
Follow
All
your heart.
religion manifests in dark ways sometimes. I dig it.
So as a truth bearer, Illaoi serves the god directly. She has 2 duties. One is to kill undead, which are seen as an abomination, and the other is finding people with potential and giving them the test of Nagakaboros, which is what we saw her do to Gangplank in that one story we kind of talked about a while back.
Yeah.
She pulls out their little soul thing and bashes them around and is like, fight for your dreams or something.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's pretty much it.
You were looking at me like it wasn't it, so I'm glad.
No, it's spot on.
Thank you. Illaoi's the first truth bearer. God, I keep forgetting what they're called. To go to Bilgewater. We talked a little bit about this already, but Bilgewater is the only place that the, quote, foreigners are allowed in the Serpent Isles. Illaoi's people doesn't let anyone else in. They see Bilgewater as like a sewer, I guess. That they're like...
Not far off, given all the descriptions we've heard about.
Yeah. But Illaoi thinks they have potential and is protecting and testing them herself, and that's all we get. We don't really have like a central goal for Illaoi, I guess. I feel like a lot of bios end and it's like, and now they're doing this, but it's like, and now, I don't know. It's just like she's in Bilgewater.
I think the thing, and I don't know if this was just a lot of setup early on, but the keeping Bilgewater safe from the harrowing is kind of like an overarching thing for her, and it's something that she has to do all the fucking time, I guess.
Apparently, because, I mean, if only there was a group of people that were designed to fight harrowings. But no.
Yeah.
Don't worry, though. If they ever do an event like that, I'm sure Illaoi will play a big part in it.
Yeah. We need to start keeping a track of when we reference some way in which Rise of the Sentinels fucked up. Because in reading this, I mean, we'll see what happens with Ruin King, but it seems strange to me that she wouldn't show up in Rise of the Sentinels, because that's like a big tenet, like you mentioned, of the faith, is like, of the 2 things they're all about, fighting the undead is like number 1, right?
Yeah.
It seems weird that we didn't see her show up. I think there's a Buru Sentinel, which is the name of her, like, her folk. There's a Legends of Runeterra card, which is way cooler than like what we got, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah, all those Sentinels fucking rocked.
Yeah, but on top of that, like, the other thing that she's all about is going out and finding exceptional individuals. She's like so predisposed to start, helping build out all of these Sentinels. So it's very strange that she didn't show up as a part of that team building.
Well, the thing is,
effort.
They don't like to give Illaoi skins.
Yeah, we're gonna find that out when we get into the very limited number of AUs.
Which is a bummer, because I think she is a character model that really lends itself to some very, very cool art and skins, but they never play with that. I guess people don't buy them. I think she's not popular.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably that. I wonder if they feel constrained by her, like, having the tentacles as a part of her gameplay. Like, that's something you need to work with on the skin as well. Maybe that makes it...
just color and coat them, so they're...
Sure, right. Like, so you could still make 1,000,001 things. All right. I feel like that was a thing they had with Zac, or earlier with Zac, was this feeling of how do we make a Zac skin when it's all just...
There's
how do we make it not a
colors,
chroma?
basically, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense with Zac. But Illaoi,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's totally doable. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, it'll all be tested out with Vex, because I feel like a lot of the same problems.
Well, did you see the one Vex skin?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh.
What is it?
I don't know.
But I imagine like a lot of the tech that would prevent you from making cool Illaoi skins would exist with Vex too, but I imagine that Vex is probably going to be very popular, so I'm curious if they solve those technical problems for her.
Well, she's still
She's like a
emo.
Remora latching
She's
on to
all-
Vex.
Yeah.
She's all colorful in her emo state. I don't really love it.
It's like a Navori kind of skin almost.
It's Dawnbreaker Vex.
Oh,
She's going to be a part of that.
just kind of looks like Zaya Vex.
It does. That's true, it does.
So, all right, a few things I liked about the bio.
Okay.
First of all, I really love the archetype of a priestess who just does whatever the fuck she wants, and
Yeah.
a religion that's all about emotion and chasing dreams. And I like the quote, like, she takes what she wants, destroys what she hates, and revels in everything she loves, because I feel like that's the type of thing that I feel like men in religion get all the time. Like, you always get like the cardinals, like the Rolos
Preacher.
and fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, that's them. You don't get that in a lot of like female priestesses, and I like that.
Real
Yeah.
quick, you said Rolo instead of Frollo, and now I'm picturing
Frollo,
like the
yes,
candy.
I did.
It took me a minute.
Nice
Yeah.
gooey caramel center.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, in general, I think one thing I liked a lot about this was the fact that the faith was something they spent some time explaining, comparing to like the Lunari and the Solari. Is like, I understand what this
yeah.
religion believes and what they're all about, and you could then, for me, start making conflicts around this group, and I completely understand what they're doing, right? And I understand what their motivations are and all that jazz. So that was like talking about breath of fresh air. It was like, this is a great like summary of what all this faith is. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting one.
And I liked the kind of quote that when you mentioned she broke with tradition when she chose to protect residents of Bilgewater from the harrowing, or even more controversially, when she decided that some of its residents had souls worthy of the great test. Now, knowing what we know about Illaoi and GP, I'm now going to refer to sex with Illaoi as the great test.
But that's not what it is, honey. The test is a separate thing.
Nope, it's the old tentacle tango.
John, I don't think she gets the tentacle. Well, why wouldn't she?
Yeah, right?
Right.
It'd be a waste otherwise.
All of this just really points out how perfect she is for Braum.
I'm curious to see more about that during Ruined King 2.
Yeah, who knows, right?
We'll see them do the great test.
Hey.
It'll be like Mass Effect, a love scene.
That's
and
what's taking
everything.
so long. Yeah.
That's what's taking so long. You gotta
Gotta
get
get
the
them
details
animations
right.
down.
There's so much muscle. They're both so beefy.
Gotta get those tentacle physics just right.
Riot breaking new ground. Oh, man.
Another thing I liked about the bio, and this was just kind of like world building, basically. This was just about the writing, not necessarily about the story itself. I like all the call outs of like local slang and the translation of local words. For instance, like Pelongi being residents of mainlander descent, and just like the literal translation they said of Nagakeboros, literally meaning the unending monster that drives the sea and sky. And I've read some of the Q&As with Odin Austin Schaefer, who's the person who wrote this bio and her short story, and he did a lot of research about various kind of religions to base this religion off of. And I don't know, I just liked the effort that went into it, and I liked the world building around it.
Yeah. Well, I think you can feel it, and that was kind of what I was trying to, I guess, describe. You've summed it up more succinctly than I, rambling. But yeah, that it feels fleshed out, and it feels like, again, like something that could totally sit in this world. It makes me more interested in Bilgewater and this, like, these Serpent Isles, because I'm interested to see what the more interactions between like this faith and these people and Bilgewater's residents, and see what comes about. Right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So what didn't you like about it, Mark?
I think the biggest issue was that there's not really much about Illaoi.
Yeah.
It's very like one or two lines really where it talks about how she's really good, and I think also it's talking about her doing something like, it says, that she's like the most revered truth bearer in 100 generations or something like that. That's a really, that says a lot about her, and I wish there was some more to kind of showcase that. And
that's a really good point. I kind of didn't think about that, especially like as she's going off and kind of breaking traditions in a way that's probably frowned upon by her people. So why is she still so respected?
Because she's the only truth bearer in 100 generations that could actually pick up the eye of God.
I guess that's fair.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would like to see more about that, and more about the conflicts that are kind of the internal conflicts around her decisions to break from tradition and how that manifests. You see like the tiniest hint of it in the Burden story, where she's like, there's a scene at the start where she's kind of having a discussion with the two other clergy members, but seeing more about that I think would be interesting, because it seems like that would be a big deal for her to be dealing with that, right? And like, what about the factions, right, within that faith who are not on board with it, and what's happening with that, those types of things,
How do you not feel so bored by like these petty quabbles of Gangplank and his bullshit when you hold something called the Eye of God?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
I'd be like, I don't care. You're a boring human. I have tentacles.
But he's not boring. He's in motion.
Oh, he is now, yeah. I don't know. I guess I like that as a motivation, that she's in general kind of looking to find people who are have a lot of potential. She's the one who should go and fix League's lore, because she can find people with a bunch of potential and get them unstuck. They're like blocking up the dam.
That's genius. She goes and finds Annie, and she's like, all right, girl. You're a
Honestly,
demon child.
So, I mean, we can go through the stories, but I had like echoes of my feelings of like Alistar, where I was like, I think there's a lot of potential here, and if you pair her with a few, I'd love to see her interact with a few champions. Like, I thought Fiora would be a really fun one to see her kind of push forward, right? Or someone like Akali, who has kind of just started on that path, and kind of have them interact and see what comes from that. It's almost like a mentor mentee.
Oh, that's a great pairing.
Whatever type thing. I don't know.
For the record, these have been now kind of shuttered, because Boards was essentially, we can say it now, we don't work there. Boards was a huge failure.
What was?
Boards, it was their attempt to recreate Reddit as the League forums.
What the fuck is Boards? You can't just say Boards and then expect me to
know. It was a big thing when we worked there. It was we're going to move away from our forums and onto Boards. And everyone was like, but why? The Reddit is so active. They're like, no, this is going to be like Reddit, but worse, and on our website. But anyway,
they wanted control over the Reddit. Yeah,
there was a bunch of conversations on Boards that where Odin actually hopped onto Boards to discuss things like hypothetical, like, hey, who do you think would pass Illaoi's test, and who do you think would fail Illaoi's test? So he actually engaged a lot with these kind of hypothetical. Here's who I think would pass and why. Here's who I think would fail and why. So there's actually. And I mean, obviously, we don't get a lot of that in the lore itself, but it was interesting hearing that perspective from the author as to who he thinks would pass and fail.
Yeah, discussing with the 15 people that was on board.
Small but proud, man, let me tell you.
Yeah, for the record, Braum and Vi, they'd pass.
Obviously. I think those are two of the easiest.
Jin would fail.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't
know enough
gotten
about Jin
yet.
I would have thought Jin would have passed.
Also, anyone undead would fail automatically because
she's bound to kill him. Well, she could try. I don't know if she'll get fiddlesticks.
I would like, this is again why Rise of the Sentinels, having her be around Senna seems like it would be interesting, because she's got some of that undead floating around. And
that's
I don't know, whatever. I don't mean to keep
she's got that undead musk about her.
Right. Her and Vayne got some similarities.
Senna,
I don't know.
Undead. Available now. Can already see her perfume commercial.
So, who wants to take us to the burden?
Sure. My notes are pretty sparse, but it's pretty straightforward.
Sorry.
We also talked about it during the Gangplank episode.
Yeah.
This one's also by Austin Odin Schaefer, right? Did
Correct.
you say that already? Okay. Dope. Yeah, so this one is like immediately following Burning Tides. Illaoi is, like I mentioned, we can talk a bit more about the Illaoi stuff, and that she is having a discussion with some members of the clergy, and some of them, it seems like, want to leave Bilgewater entirely in the face of the coming harrowing, and they've got members of it called like serpent callers who can call the beasts from the sea to come to their aid. They're like cool Aquaman, right? Talking about how because the water is so polluted that they won't be able to do that.
What do you mean, cool Aquaman? Are you trying to say that Aquaman's not?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right, how about cool the deep for all the boys fans out there?
Yeah, I suppose that, you know what? Yeah, fair. Anyway, I don't know. Gangplank shows up, and we talked about it. He's messed up. She tests him, and he, to her surprise, passes it, and so she decides to let the rest of the local like chiefs who are kind of a part of this Buru, people or faith, kind of put their support behind Gangplank in his upcoming bid to take over Bilgewater. That's like the quick summary.
Again, a few things I liked about this. First of all, I do like them immediately. Like, basically, when I finished the bio, the first thought that came to my head was like, why is the harrowing even a thing in Bilgewater? You have these giant-ass sea monsters who seem like they should be able to just fight this all off. So I appreciated that, like, in the first line of this short story, it explains why they can't do that. Because it would have bothered me otherwise.
Sure. Yeah.
Also, I like the description of how heavy the Eye of God is. I think we had talked about it before, but they'd said, she lifted the Eye of God from its stand. The golden idol was larger than a wine barrel and many times the weight. Like, fuck. I want a power level on Illaoi. Like, not just like her superpowers, but just like, I want to know what the fuck she reps.
What's her what's her one rep max?
Yeah.
Do you think it's more of a deadlifting motion with that thing? It's got to be, right?
Maybe.
I like the idea that she could cradle me like a baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not small, so.
But she wouldn't.
Prom like a baby.
She would do it only to throw you across the room, right?
No, I'm not undead. I might be wearing Senna's musk, though.
Yeah.
She releases that.
It's just perfume.
I also love that when she kind of kicks Gangplank over to initiate the test on him, she had a lot of options. Like, I mean, I guess first of all, she didn't have to kick him over. She could have just put the idol in his face and did the test, or she could have like kicked him in the chest. But no, it's like it says specifically, she stomp kicked Gangplank, her heel smashing into his nose with a crunch.
I love the word stomp kick. If you're
Right?
stomp kicking anything in a story, I am fucking happy, I will say.
Especially with Gangplank's fucking face.
Right? So unnecessary. Fucking loved it.
I think it's necessary. It's Gangplank.
Also, I like the line when Gangplank is like, I kept the faith. I did my rituals. I did my sacrifices. And she's all just like, rituals? Sacrifices? You speak of things for weak men and their weak gods. My god demands action. Fucking power move.
That's true.
But
Yeah, she comes off pretty impressive in this one, I will say. I think I like this the most of the what's here.
Yeah.
Isn't this the one, there's a little line too where there's like the slightest bit of like her remembering being like a lot younger and being kind of awkward about how tall she was.
Yeah. I like that a lot too.
That. I wish that's what I would like to see like a little bit more of, is like just peeling a layer or two away. Because I like the idea of seeing her as like a gangly, tall, like awkward teenager, and then now, right? And how like a lot of the tenets that this faith kind of propose, like, is this faith is like the continuous improvement, like, religion, right? It's just always about being like constantly self-improving. So I would like to see more of that journey, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the non-mechanical version of Victor's religion.
Yeah, Victor was also one who I wanted to see interact with her, frankly, because of that.
It'd be interesting. But yeah, to your point too, I liked the fact that it was like, oh yeah, I felt so awkward when I was a child and I was gangly and bumped into people. But then they learned to stay the hell out of my way.
Yeah. I think that would be really cool to see a little bit more of that awkward Illaoi, I guess.
Oh, I'd love a teen Illaoi story.
She needs to join the academia skin line.
Oh,
Sure,
shit.
yeah.
She'd probably be like a PE teacher or something.
She would be the that would still be a good
Just
skin, though.
Curling 15 like dodgeballs at a time with her tentacles.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You're fucking welcome. PE Illaoi.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.
Pilawi. No,
Yeah.
that's a different skin.
didn't
Don't
wanna
make
say
that
it.
right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that phrase into the world.
Nasty.
But yeah, I like that. I feel like you get a lot of Illaoi here. Like there's the politicking at the beginning that she's just like whatever, don't fucking care. And there's the people that are like trying to second guess, like that one like who is it? The one snake caller who is like kind of trying to throw shade, and she's just like, yeah, man, fuck off. There's just she's not here for your nonsense, and I'm all for it.
It was a little strange when she just said crap. I don't know why that stood out to me.
Does it feel very like of
Modern.
this world?
Yes.
Modern, yeah. Is it kind of like saying normies or try hard? It feels like.
Yeah, like
Maybe not quite that bad.
for
Not that
all
bad,
of the for all of the world building, it definitely seems like, I mean, because the Piltover stories we read, they've got all sorts of like Piltover sayings for normal everyday things.
It
It
also
seems like
just-
there should be a Bilgewatery one.
It's also something a fucking toddler would say. Crap, because they can't say shit there. If you're an adult, you go shit. You don't say crap. What are you, fucking 8?
Shit would be more effective.
Say shit like an adult.
Put on your big girl panties, say shit.
Or come up with a new word. You can do it. I'll scrim shot.
Motherfucker.
Right? Or have her just have say some slang there, right? Something that we don't know, but like the direct translation is something really
Barnacles.
offensive. Okay, SpongeBob. Squidward Illaoi. Yeah.
That's another free one, right? Squidward Illaoi, make
Yeah.
it.
Oh, God. No, she's too good for Squidward.
But yeah,
Yeah, solid.
Again, enjoyed the story. I thought it was
Yeah, it's a good story.
it was a good read. You did us good on this one, Odin.
Yeah. I'm curious. I would really like to see what happens in Ruin King with her and potentially Gangplank coming back, because it seemed like she still had a little bit of a thing for him. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
So
Gag me.
I don't think. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they'll ever like have them get back together or anything. I just thought it was. I think it was maybe nice to see a little bit of that in her when she's and still being willing to I gotta do what I gotta do, but that it wasn't just something that didn't matter to her, I guess.
Yeah, we
Maybe that
definitely
was
talked
nice.
about that in the Gangplank episode.
Yeah.
How I like that she was like, I really, really cared for this man and still do. Gotta murder him, though.
Gotta put him through. Man. You know what? Okay, so we should talk about that little microsite too, that stupid trial of the Kraken
Okay,
Priestess.
so that's next. I thought this was another short story. I didn't make it past the first trial because I was on my laptop, and I gotta say, a trackpad, not good for tracing some symbol in the air.
Yeah.
So there were only so many times I could hear her say, "You are not in motion." And I'm like, you're right. I'm sitting on the couch where I've been for 6 hours, and I don't feel like going down to my computer. I am not in motion, so I gave up. So what happens in that trial? Because I died.
Play a few more mini games.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There's
for
like
the
3 of them.
listener, right? What this is this is a microsite. I think when she was getting released or like had just been revealed, right?
Right.
And the setup is that you are taking on the role of some captain who has done something cowardly, and Illaoi has come to put you through the test, right? Like that's the setup. And so then it has you do little like quick time events. Is that how you would describe
Yeah.
it?
All quick time events.
Yeah, like draw this little symbol 3 times, or click and so the next one, if you pass the first one, is like you have to click and drag these little things onto the
Eyeballs.
little eyes on the little eye of God. You know,
Okay.
easy enough. And then the last one is you gotta fight to keep your soul from getting pulled out of you completely, which involves It says either clicking and dragging or scrolling, but I have never been able to do it clicking and dragging.
Me neither. I had to do the scroll. The clicking and dragging didn't work for me.
Interesting.
I will say this: the site kind of doesn't work. The first time I went through it, it went through all of the things with no audio, and then just immediately went back to the first thing. Yeah, this is buggy, right? It's just this old site that, doesn't quite work. I was amazed that it was even linked and still up, though. I was certain this was a dead link.
Yeah. I thought I was like, at first I thought it was a short story, and then it said begin, and then I thought it was like maybe like a visual novel or something, or like a comic that it was going to read to me, which was nice. But
now here's my theory. I know that this was about the time that Universe was just coming out. So I'm curious if they were just, and this was also the time that the Gangplank event was happening and everything. They probably just threw everything on there at that point and just like never looked back, would be my guess. That was probably the point where they're like, if there's anything even like remote, which might be why the climb is there. Like if there's anything remotely about the champion, like
they scraped for like a name.
Although that doesn't even
like
explain it, because the climb was in 2018. I don't even fucking. They went back there and decided to add that.
Yeah, someone just happened to go by it. Yeah, I was like, I think she's in this video. Who the fuck knows?
Now, on the one hand, the trials in these QuickTime events seem much easier than the trials described. But on the other hand, I also failed. So maybe working as intended.
What's interesting to me is that, like you and I assume failed just because, you can't click and drag. It's like an actual problem with the execution. You, Rebecca, you kind of failed on like another level because you didn't.
I literally wasn't in motion. I was like, I could pass this, but nah.
I don't want to go downstairs.
That's really funny to me. I don't know.
It wasn't working with the trackpad, and I wanted to play Stardew Valley.
Fair.
So.
I think it does say that in the little faith bylaws that if you're playing Stardew Valley, it's cool.
Yeah, because you're building a farm, you're building relationships.
I'm very busy.
But yeah, neat little thing, neat little like time capsule almost. The art's kind of cool, I will say. I wish it would show up in like a little comic or something. That would be a good way of kind of preserving some of it.
That'd be cool.
So.
It's just a nice little moment of mommy Illaoi. She's very dominating in it. I'm like, all right,
mommy. Sorry,
it's all right, mommy. Mommy.
So the last story is Shadow and Fortune, which is by Graham McNeil, and she's only in 2 chapters of it. Basically, in chapter 2, Illaoi goes to talk to MF after the death of one of her crew, where she speaks in very cryptic riddles and gives her a necklace. Later in the story, MF and her crew return to Illaoi's temple, and they buy Illaoi time while she and the other priests and priestesses summon the power of Nagake Boros to fight back the harrowing. Now, I had a question on this one because I don't know whether I'm just dumb or like there's something I don't understand. And when Illaoi first meets with Miss Fortune, she says, "You're not wrong," she said with a slow nod, "but you still don't hear. You let a razor eel off the hook, and you ought to stamp on its neck and walk away before it sinks its fangs into you. Then your motion will be gone forever." Now, like, contextually, based on like what just happened, I guess, in the whole storyline, it sounded like this was about GP. Like, and like giving her a little hint like, hey, by the way, you didn't kill him, and he's probably going to come back and kill you for it. But then later they kind of allude to that whole thing actually being about the harrowing. And I don't know what the fuck MF did to let the harrowing off the hook, or what she could have done to stop it, but it seemed weird.
So I don't have the text in front of me. I would have to go look through it. But I think in one of the later chapters, I want to say Miss Fortune is maybe talking with like Raffin, who is like a character that she talks with in this thing about it, and my read on it is that Miss Fortune took that to mean the razor eel being like Bilgewater as a whole, and kind of the aftermath of the power vacuum, right? That suddenly all the gangs have gone wild, and it's now, that's the threat. I think you're right that Illaoi was actually talking about Gangplank and was kind of doing it in a cryptic sort of way. And I could be wrong. I would have to look at the text and see where it was that you thought they were talking about the heroine itself, because maybe I'm misremembering it, or I'm not understanding it, or am a moron.
Yeah, there was just a point where Miss Fortune was banging on the door of the temple, and the black mist was behind her, and she said something like, "Hey, I'm ready to put my heel on the neck of the eel now. Please let me in." Like, but
Maybe she's just trying to be cute.
maybe. I mean,
She doesn't have to
Just trying
try.
Oh. Another nitpick. There's a quote that says, "Hecarim roared and swept his glaive at Illaoi's neck. Misfortune's blade intercepted it in a clashing flare of sparks." Excuse me. Have y'all ever tried to stop the momentum of a fucking glaive? Especially
have
one
not.
swung from horseback with a sword?
No.
Like, that must have been the biggest reinforced parry in the fucking world. Because let me tell you right now, that's not gonna happen.
Have you tried
Do you
to
think-
stop a glaive from a horse?
It sounds like you're speaking from experience.
I tried to stop it not on horseback. It still didn't fucking work.
Could it potentially like divert the blow at least to make it like, would that satisfy you if it didn't, like if let's say it still
If
caught,
she
like,
redirected,
brings-
that's
yeah,
acceptable.
redirected somewhat to a degree. Like Misfortune still gets like knocked to the ground, like rolls out from it, but it's not to not have allowing it, stabbed to death. Is that cool?
Does
That
does
would
that
be
satisfy you?
That would
Okay,
satisfy
I don't
me.
know. I genuinely don't know. I could see it being no, because I think you're right. And maybe having that detail would have sold it more. You got, if it's like wrestling, you got to really sell that hit.
Yeah, like I'm imagining this giant Hecarim. We know Hecarim's
Yeah.
pretty giant. And then Misfortune. We all know how big Misfortune is. And like a full-length swing from a two-handed weapon being like blocked by Misfortune with the sword. Just I couldn't envision it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I really liked some more Illaoi things that give like Illaoi characterization that I liked. After this whole thing went, Illaoi does manage to push back the black mist. We kind of talked about it a bit on the Hecarim episode. She manages to free a bunch of the souls that are actually stuck in the black mist, most of whom are very happy to be free because, like we mentioned, it's hell in there. Hecarim gets away before being freed because he's all about that hell. But it took a lot of energy from Illaoi, and she kind of is super drained afterwards. So in the aftermath, Raffen is kind of in awe of what he had just seen, and he's like, "The bearded lady rose from the sea." "Don't be stupid all your life," said Illaoi. "I said Nagakeboros doesn't live under the sea." "So where does she live?" asked Raffen. "In the sky?" Illaoi shook her head and punched him in the heart. Raffen grunted and winced in pain. "This is where you find her." Illaoi grinned at the obliqueness of her answer, and her eyes drifted closed. "Is she dead?" asked Raffen, rubbing his bruised chest. Illaoi reached up and slapped him, then started snoozing like a stevedore with the lung blight. I liked it. Just sassy and violent.
Temple of Doom him in the fucking heart.
Kalima.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, funny.
Punched
Yeah,
him in
it's-
the heart. Not the chest. Punched him in the
Yeah.
heart.
Because that's where Nagakeboros lives.
Right.
Get him out!
Get it out.
Get it out! I don't think
He's, like,
supposed to
freaking
be
out.
there.
This is your
It's supposed to be
spine.
my heart in there.
Hey, put it back.
Yeah, she's selling this. She doesn't show up a ton. She kind of is a little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end. But I like her kind of the way she talks, where like the undead are beating down the door, and Misfortune is like crying out like, is that door gonna hold? She's like, either it will or it won't. That's all. Next fucking question, right? I kind of like that angle on it.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have her do more, I guess I would say, in general.
If she ever does more.
Yeah, that's going to be
She'll
the real
be doing
thing.
more in Ruined King.
Yeah, it makes me
I'm
excited for Ruined King, I'll say.
Do we know she's in Ruined King? You're talking?
Yeah, she's in the
okay.
trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
That's
seen
one of the other
trailers.
cinematics she's part of.
Oh.
Yeah. Although
But
I will
she's
say
in
I'm not
it, so they didn't link it on the page.
I know.
right. Well, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe she'll get some updates on her universe page after Ruined King.
That'd be exciting.
Maybe. I don't know. I will say I'm excited for Ruined King because I think I'll be more excited to see her do stuff. I don't find her and Misfortune to be the most interesting pairing, I guess. But we'll see.
Yeah. Don't worry. You only need to wait until the beginning of 2021. That's when Ruined King comes out.
I was gonna say I can't wait, but I guess I can.
Now, last kind of short story that she's mentioned in is Ezreal's Field Notes. Ezreal just kind of mentions that he wants to take a closer look at Illaoi's fetish. Now, we had mentioned this in the Ezreal story. We looked it up, and fetish basically just means an idol that's used for worship that's said to contain a spirit.
No,
But come on.
that's not what he's talking about.
An idol that shoots tentacles, and Riot decided to use the much lesser known word, fetish, to describe it. They knew what they were doing.
Maybe Ezreal knew what he was doing. He likes to keep
I
it saucy
think
for the
so.
reader.
So what are the cinematics she's actually in, John?
So, as we mentioned, she's part of Kingdom, which is the Ruined King trailer. The whole trailer opens with Illaoi and MF just walking into a pub and just fucking wrecking the place. There's probably bad guys in there, maybe. They're both morally ambiguous, so there's also a chance there aren't bad guys in there, but they wreck them anyway. This is unrelated to Illaoi, but I remember being super pumped when I saw this trailer originally, because one of the other pairings in here, other than Illaoi and Misfortune, was like the Yasuo Ari, and it seemed like it was going to be a direct continuation of the cinematic from the Spirit Blossom event, which just seems like years ago
I know.
at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Memories.
still waiting, but soon.
Yeah.
And finally, she's part of The Climb, which is the 2018 season cinematic. And like we mentioned, there's not a whole lot of her here. Basically, you just see Nagake Boros' arms. This is
The
like
tentacles.
So actually,
Yeah.
this is an important point of
Oh.
distinction that I have here.
Oh, okay.
Zoologically speaking,
Oh my god.
Illaoi does
Actually.
not summon Nagaka Boros' tentacles because they are stated to be smooth all along and only have suckers at their distal clubs. What she's actually summoning is the goddess's arms, which have suckers along their entire length.
They're fucking tentacles.
But this is likely, if I had to guess, because it seems weird that they would just be destroying MF out of nowhere. This is probably Illaoi giving MF the trial that they kept alluding to, if I had to guess.
Yeah, maybe this will be something that leads into Ruined King, because we know that parts of this trailer are like canon, right? Like this is actually
Yeah.
depicting stuff happening. So
Yeah,
maybe
it'd be exciting.
it's just weird. It's a weird thing to like. It's like a little, not even 15. It's like a 6-second little bit of this little video.
Yes, everyone else in this entire trailer has like good action moments, and this entire part is Misfortune being underwater and there being tentacles, and
Yeah.
then like nothing happens.
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird.
Well, I guess it is what it is.
Now I have a few fun quotes of hers that I liked. I don't know if any of y'all wrote down interesting quotes of hers, but
No, we definitely talked about some when we did Braum. I even
yes, I
played
have
some
all of
them.
her Braum ones again. So if you didn't listen to the Braum episode, she's has some thirsty Braum quotes.
She does.
So one of them, and well, actually, we'll just play them probably. But I'll do the first one. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, which is a Mike Tyson quote.
Now she should do an impression when she says that'd be great. I'm not
She
gonna
has
try it. But
a lot of taunts at Gangplank.
yeah, she got a lot of quotes in general. She's got a lot of
She's-
champion.
9 taunts specifically for gameplay.
That is a lot.
3 for Braum.
Northman, there are motions I would like to show you. Finally, a man who won't break. I know you are strong. I wonder if you have stamina.
Oh, yeah, girl, get it.
Yeah.
We never hear about Braum having like a relationship. I absolutely would ship this.
He is a
100%.
matchmaker. He's a little wingman.
That's
Yeah.
true. Let's get like Ash and Tryndamere setting up Braum with Illaoi.
Oh, that'd be great.
I want that comic.
He's so cute.
Yeah, she's got, she actually does have a lot of good quotes, and she has some interesting ones that I wrote down that are less horny. Although she does have ones with Garen and Kat, which continues to like be like, oh, you need to, acknowledge what your heart desires, which is nice. But
That's right.
so I thought one interesting
they fail
one.
that shit.
Yeah, right. This is why I think she's interesting, is because I want to see like so many different champions like get tested and see what happens. All right.
Yeah.
But okay, so something that I thought was interesting was that, to me, the way they talk about the test, and like after you've done it, you're kind of like changed, reminded me a lot of Targon and ascending that. And so I was looking at her quotes, and she has taunts. When she taunts Ascended, which she doesn't seem to like them, but she has like one quote where it's like, your powers are stolen from the flow, you've damned your homeland, calls them abominations. It makes me wonder how much like overlap there is going on between her god and like what's going on with the Celestials and the Ascended and all that. That's an interesting thing to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely, like, although it seems like the powers you get from her trial, I don't know, they seem lame in comparison. It's like, you complete her trial, and then you find out that the real power was in you the whole time.
Yeah, it's like a motivational speech, except you get your shit pushed in.
Thanks, but I choose the power of the moon, if it's all the same.
I'm trying to imagine if she was in Rise of the Sentinels now, they would appear, and she would immediately be there, and be like, I need to put Rookie through the trial. And then you'd be put through the trial, and you'd be given 3 jokes to choose between. And you'd make some kind of joke, and then you pass the trial.
Squeal as the tentacles caress you, or some bullshit like that.
Be
right?
like, oh, I kind of like this, would be one of the
Oh my god, yeah,
the
you're
response.
right. Drink.
Yeah. And then you'd easily just pass that trial. It's supposed to be really difficult.
And then you get to the exciting conclusion where you're battling these great mists, and they're like, where's Illaoi? Oh, she had to go test someone, so she's not here right now. Oh man.
You know what? At least they would explain why she's not there, and not just abandon her, like just her not show up.
Yeah.
Well,
Anywho.
that's fine.
We're over it.
We're over it.
Yes, not bothered.
Now,
Give us all those AUs.
she is part of exactly 2 AUs.
Oh my god.
Ooh. I know one. I don't remember the other. Sorry.
So the first one is Battlecast Resistance. The glorious revolution is here. Assembling an army of machines with living brains, Victor marches against the combined forces of his enemies with only a scrappy human-led resistance keeping him from total world domination. Now this one is Resistance Illaoi. Chief enforcer of the human-led resistance, Illaoi was once the subject of a failed battlecast conversion that left her with control over nearby machines. Seizing her newfound power, she has single-handedly decimated Victor's forces in countless battles, becoming a beacon of hope for rebels across the world.
It's like John Connor, kind of.
Man, I haven't seen the later Terminators.
Yeah.
Does he just control all the...
Maybe. I don't know. I just meant in the general, like, being a beacon of hope and the resistance, but maybe you've...
Right. Kind of a combination of John Connor and Neo, I guess.
Yeah, I guess this does have some kind of, like, real-world Matrix vibes. Interesting.
She also has just a little bit of lore around her attempted conversion, which is just the scanner of the machine that was attempting to convert her. And it just says, initiating assimilation of sequence on subject 128. Left scapula battle casting complete. Error. Restraint systems damaged. Subject 128 missing. Alerting security sentry. Error. Security sentry not responding. Error. Assimilator arm destroyed. Error. Central systems damaged. Error.
Man, thanks for bringing us there, man. Shit.
I was really there.
Yeah,
I was there
know.
for the scan.
And the last AU she's part of is Event Horizon. In the vast
Great
darkness
movie.
of space. This is a good movie. Also, in the vast darkness of space are born terrible, beautiful things, cosmic creatures of sublime love, and the unknowable monstrosities of the Dark Star. These are the children of silent gods, and they are finally coming home. This one is Cosmic Invoker, Illaoi.
This is newish compared to.
Yeah.
It's from November of last year.
An
It's
entity
beautiful.
who carries the raw power of cosmic creation in her hands, Illaoi can slam the orb she holds into the very fabric of reality, allowing time to flow forward, even in places where life has been eradicated.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
Right?
Damn.
She also has a Voidborn skin, but there's no lore associated with it.
Interesting. That's the one I was thinking of for this when you first said it, but then, yeah, I remembered what the actual one looks like.
Now, a few fun facts for Illaoi. Illaoi is voiced by Rolanda Watts. And in development, she used to have a bug with her vessel ability, which is one where she like pulls someone's soul out of them, and then if they get too far away, then tentacles slam them. And instead of a tentacle popping out every few seconds and attacking, like 20 would pop out every few seconds. And the video of that bug is horrifying.
That's awesome.
Even the one is really difficult.
So hard. So the name Nagake Boros is a combination of many mythological elements. Naga means snake. Ka is one of the 5 ancient Egyptian concepts of soul. And Boros refers to the Ouroboros, the serpent swallowing its own tail.
Huh.
The Aurora Borosaurus. No, I'll shut up.
You tried so hard. It was good, Mark. It was good.
No. That is neat, though.
This was actually also apparently a temp name. They hadn't quite settled on a name, I guess, but they had the voice actress come in and do it, and they liked the way she pronounced it so much that they kept it.
Dope.
Also, I mean, you had mentioned the other week, too, that in the design docs we got early on when Illaoi was coming out, they did make kind of a big deal about, like, oh, it's going to be pronounced like, what was it, like Illaoi?
Yeah, I thought it was a double, handled like in Spanish, like a Y for a double L.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, I don't know for sure, but that might have been another thing that changed because she has quotes where she says her own name, and that might have been another thing that changed as a result of the voice actress. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This might be a Mandela effect thing though, where I heard someone say that, and I for some reason got it into my brain that was the right way to say it. And I'm just wrong. So.
I mean, even if it was, no one was going to say it that way, Riot.
Yeah, I was Googling how do you pronounce Illaoi, and there were a number of posts asking how exactly you're supposed to say it, which I think is why she has a quote where she says just, "My name is Illaoi."
They should
Just
do
help
that
you
for
out.
every champion from now on.
Right.
Should have one quote where they say their name.
To stop with the arguments like Shaco and Shaco,
Right. Because
Vagar,
otherwise,
yeah.
Vagar, and what else how do people say
Vigar.
Vagar's name?
Vigar.
Vigar? No, Vagar's way better.
yeah.
It's just cool. I just go with whatever is cooler sounding to me.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, that was named after a writer, so I guess he, however he pronounced his name, that's,
That is
that's
true,
the
that's
right
fair.
way. But yeah, otherwise all we've got is like how the casters pronounce it. And even
That's
they fuck up half the
normally
time.
that's normally how we know is watching LCS and how they pronounce it.
But then again, remember that like 1 week during Worlds where they all pronounced Uzi's name Uzi-I?
But that's
Oh,
not a
really? I don't
champion
remember
though.
that.
I mean, they should still know Uzi's name
Yeah.
when you're casting.
They should know that no one would name themselves Uzi-I.
Yeah. There's only one eye, like, and also Uzi's like that's like a
It's
word.
like a gun.
That's like
And he was an AD carry. It made perfect sense. It's just like the Brazilian player who mained Twitch being named Brrr.
yeah. Funny.
Anywho.
Any more fun facts?
Resistance Illaoi was actually a fan-voted skin.
Oh.
It
Really?
won over Deep Space Illaoi and Adventure Illaoi.
Ah, both of those sound so much better than Resistance.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I don't like the Resistance Battlecaster skins that much, though. That's not like my aesthetic, I guess.
Okay.
But
I like them for
Space or
some,
Adventure?
yeah.
Space, like, yeah, it could have worked for
Yeah.
sure. Especially because, was it Dreadnought Gangplank? I think it's his back animation where, like,
A big UFO comes and takes him away?
No, it was like
I assume a
portal.
tentacle or something.
Yeah, like, God, what is the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like a hole in a
Wormhole?
ship. A porthole basically opens up and
porthole.
tentacles come in,
Oh.
and then it closes and cuts them off. But, like, those could have been Illaois.
Yeah, Dreadnova Illaoi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Finally. Oh, never mind. I already talked about my final fun fact. Whew, what a tease.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, y'all. It
Okay.
was just the QA one. I guess the one thing I didn't mention is that Tom Kench would also fail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about Tom Kench. He fish.
You know one thing,
He's a fish.
two things.
He's catfish.
3 things. No. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Well, you know, it's interesting to me, I guess, that he would fail. I wouldn't think about it, but I'm more interested in seeing her deal with people who are a little more not corporeal, earthly, like rather than demons, but more people who are on like I thought her dealing with Aphelios would be real interesting. Partially because he's got another spirit kind of attached to him. See what happens when you try and pull one out. Do they both come out? Is it like when you get a double yolk on an egg?
Would she just
Like, who the
shit
fuck
her
is this?
pants? Right
Like, whoa, what the fuck?
She tries to pull out a spirit.
You're not allowed
and,
to
like,
have help.
Two whole ass spirits come out.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be really funny.
Although I am curious, so they did mention a bit that she used some of her power to temper Pike. Pike's kind of like blood rage so that they could work with him, but he's also like undead, and she seems cool with that, at least temporarily.
Yeah, I always have trouble getting around like when this person or group of people absolutely hates everyone in this group. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. Like Vayne hates everyone magical, but like Riot is tripped up by that all the time. And I feel like with Illaoi as well, all undead are abominations, except these few.
Yeah.
It's because only
It's
Sith
fine.
deal in absolutes.
Fair.
I mean, I'm fine with characters being like flexible, you know,
Yeah,
or
that's
willing
true.
to put aside to a degree. But I think maybe this is just my feeling. But when it starts to kind of feel like you said, like they're being tripped up by it, or like something that doesn't really hold a lot of weight, it starts to feel a little cheap to say it and then not really. It's like you want the cake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to eat it too, I guess is what they say about it.
You know that saying about cakes?
You know.
Cakes.
It's
And
raining
eat it.
cakes and cakes.
To eat them and also to have them. But yeah, it would be nice to have someone who she would have another champion, maybe who she would kind of draw more of a hard line with. I don't know.
Yeah, like I love flexibility, unless rigidness is specifically the character defining trait.
That's true. That too. She is very rigid. Yeah. I don't know. Anywho, any final thoughts on Illaoi?
I like her.
Okay.
She's
I
got
like her.
she's got moxie.
That is true. She's got moxie for days. Yeah, I like her. I think she's more potential than execution. So I would like to see her get more, and I think she's got the potential for some strong like stories that could be told with her and other champions. Like I said, I think she's send her like something you would send down a river to clear out log jams and just have her fix all the fucking lore that's like not working. That's what I was saying, like Fiora or fucking again, I thought Aphelios would be another one too, where you can kind of break them out of what they're kind of stuck in. Garen even might be interesting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be
Like
nice.
But yeah,
Some Noxians, maybe.
sure. Yeah, and you could put her
I
in a
feel
lot
like she'd
of places.
love Noxians.
Yeah, well,
Possibly.
she likes Darius, for example, and I guess that's the other thing to say is that a lot of her quotes, she kind of is very upfront about people who she thinks are living in motion and aren't. So like she likes Braum and Darius and Gragas, for example. You know, Jinx,
Yeah.
just people who are doing their thing, and that's neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I like her. I always liked the look of her. It was very exciting to get a female character like Illaoi, because I've complained before that all the female champions look exactly the fucking same, and Illaoi's like the one exception of an actual different body type and face. And that's nice.
It was during a nice solid period where they released a handful in a row that kind of broke the mold, which was nice.
They've given up on that, but maybe one day they'll go back.
Yeah, it went
Yeah.
a little bit of a backslide, but you know.
I know they got to do what sells, and I don't know why people don't seem to play Illaoi. I think she's very difficult to play. Maybe that's it. I don't really know.
I don't know.
All I know is that she
top enough.
fucking wrecks me in like ARAM all the time.
I think she's a lot of fun. I like being able to slam dunk on people.
That is fun.
Which is what she's all about. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to say something else about her, and then I forgot. I thought if I said a few times, it would come back to me, but it
We
didn't
tried
work.
to help out.
Thanks.
We just made it worse.
You did. Okay. Well, that's it for Illaoi. We are on Twitter at Loreheads, and we post these on YouTube as well if you ever want to chat in the comments.
We love all y'all.
Yeah, it's always so nice to get a shout out or anything. Really makes our day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And join us next week. I'm actually kind of excited because we really haven't been in this region much. And we get to talk about the blade dancer Aurelia.
Aurelia will be cool, I think.
Yeah.
Can't wait to talk about her part in the Rise of the Sun.
Shut up!
God damn it. Shit.